All right, so in this section, now we've got all the details of your invention. There are several different ways, depending on your business goals or your direction you want to take things, to optimize your patent. So I'm going to walk through, and you can see I'm sharing the screen to kind of walk you through what are the different ways you can optimize your patent and kind of what that might entail. So let's start with optimizing your patent to be broader. This is going to basically be how broad it is, how much ground it covers, what all it includes. So first of all, we're going to do is include as much detail as we can, much variations. We already talked about multiple inventions. Other ways you can make it broader is if you're thinking about foreign coverage. So the way that if you file it into the U.S., a U.S. patent is good for the U.S. It means that you can stop others from manufacturing, offer for sale, making, producing, otherwise doing anything with your invention within the U.S. This also includes if people were to make it in China or make it in Europe or make it in India or make it in South America, wherever it is, if they're importing into the U.S., U.S. patent also covers that. But let's say you have a couple big markets. So I'll give you an example. Work with a lot of medical device companies, and the U.S. is a huge market. U.S. by far spends the most money on medical devices, and so 90% of one of the companies, their market is in the U.S. So they don't worry about foreign protection. On the other hand, we have other companies. Hey, we've got a great market in the U.S. That's 50% of our market. 50% is also in Europe, and so we can actually do a foreign patent application in each of those given countries that allows you to get coverage in that. The other thing you can do is, let's say you don't know which countries you want to file into. There may be a few different countries that really all line up. We can do a PCT application. That's a placeholder application. It gives you up to a total of 30 months from the time we originally file any application within which you can file on it. So that's one way to get some broader coverage, is to go for a PCT application or a foreign application. Second one is a design patent. So we just walk through all of the utility, the functionality, what your invention does. If it also has a design aspect, it looks really cool, has a great look to it, a great aesthetic to it. People really think it's going to be great. We can protect that with a design patent. So if you have an invention that really has a great functionality, solves a problem, it also looks awesome, we can protect it both ways. So it may make sense to do a design patent. So those are a couple ways you can optimize your coverage to get broader. Another thing you can do is optimize your patent application for allowance. This one's a great thing because everybody wants to get an allowed patent. You want to get it done or through the process as quick as you can, but you also want to get an allowed patent. If you don't get an allowed patent, you don't have area investment, doesn't make sense. So the number one thing I would do is the art unit category predictor. This one is one I would highly recommend. And the reason is what we do is we use some tools and we use some databases to go and adjust your patent, not for what the invention is, but for how we word it, such that it goes to a category at the U.S. Patent and Trademark Office, USPTO, that allows us or has a higher allowance rate, that it has examiners that are more likely to allow it, they're more favorable to you. So it's a little bit more of gamification of how we get your patent application allowed. So as we adjust your patent now to get it into the right category, the right examiner, it's not a guarantee, it's not foolproof, but it gives you an increased odds of getting allowance. That's a great way. I would definitely recommend it if you have the ability and you have the budget. Second thing is a patent search. Patent search can be great in order for us to know what else is out there. If there's other competitors that have invented it. One of the things that a lot of times we do with the patent search is we'll go out there, we'll see what else is out there, what others people have previously invented, what has already been done out there, and then we will then compare it to what yours is, and we'll identify what are the differences between your patent application and what's already out there. Where should we focus your patent application? What are the unique features to yours? And it gives us an ability to focus it a lot better. So that one's a great way for us to anticipate what's already out there, focus yours on what's not out there, and distinguish it. The last one can also be a competitor analysis. Let's say you know one competitor or one really patent that's essential, that while yours may be a bit different, it does look a lot closer. We can dive in, really look at one given patent for one competitor and say, okay, now what are they doing? What's included in theirs, and how is it different, or is it different? That's what a competitor analysis is. So a patent search is going to be broadly seeing what all is out there, all the various patents. The competitor analysis is going to dive deeper into one given application. That's how you get or optimize it for allowance. Next thing is to optimize it for speed. And there's a few different ways. If you're saying, hey, what I really need is to get my patent application allowed quickly. I need to get it done so that I can have it for investors, or I want to see and I want to mark it as patented so I can scare competitors off, or any number of things. If you want to do it, you can do prioritized examination. This is the USPTO, or the Patent and Trademark Office. It will cut the examination time in about half. It usually will take the time that it would normally get through the queue to go through examination, roughly cuts that in half. It's not an exact science, but it does reduce that time quite a bit. PTO does charge a fee. The government doesn't want to get away with anything without charging some, so there is a fee associated, but it can be a great way if you're wanting to get a quicker result on your patent application. The PPH or the PPH, the Patent Prosecution Highway, this one's one is if you've already had it filed in a given country, it's already been through examination, you can then submit that to other countries that will oftentimes speed up your examination. So if it's already been through examination and you already have an outcome, this can be a great way to speed it up in those other countries. Petition to make special. This is one if you're over a given age criteria, if you have a given sickness or illness or other reasons that are specific to your situation, that's saying, hey, I needed it quickly because I'm not going to be alive much longer. I'm not going to be able to, interact much more. I have a spouse that died or anything or is dying or something that makes your situation particularly special. It's a hard category to get into unless you have a very good reason that's just for you. I wouldn't recommend it, but it can be a great category if you have a particular situation. The last one is you can also do is expedited drafting on our part. If you want to get this done more quickly, you want us to draft it. We have a loaded docket as always. We have multiple clients, but if you'd like to get to the top of the queue, get us, or if you have an upcoming deadline, you have a venture capital meeting that you want to have it ready for, you're going to go to a manufacturer, something you need a much quicker turnaround time. You can cut our time in half. So that we can get through the application. We'll move it to the top of the queue and get it going for you. So if you'd like to do that, that's a great way to expedite it on the drafting side. The last thing, and then we'll stop with the optimizing of your patent, is also to optimize it for protection. So a couple things. Let's say as you're going along, you want to see what others are doing, what other protections are offered. We can also do a couple different things. We can monitor generally, or in general, for seeing what others are doing, seeing if others are coming along after you and doing something that's covered in your patent application. That will give you more protection so that we can guard against others infringing on what you're doing or getting too close, so we can give them a heads up. So we can either do that in general, where we look, across the board what other patents are coming out, or we can do that specific to a competitor, where we monitor a competitor, seeing what they're doing, let you know what's going on, and make sure to give you the protection that way. So all of those ways are ways that you can optimize your patent to make it better, whether it's making it broader, getting an allowance quicker, getting it examined quicker, and or doing the protection. If you'd like any one of those, go ahead and just check those now.